So this video is part one of, I don't even know how many videos, because I'm filming it as I go, and then I'm just gonna upload the videos. And hopefully they'll get better as I go, because I'll be learning what not to do and from my mistakes, you know, all that stuff. So this is a demon, an Oni, a Japanese demon, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, I don't care. Man, this background is boring. I need to, hang on one second. Wall flare. Yeah. It's a cat. Anyways, enjoy. I gathered all my supplies. I got some FOMO, a little sketch, some plastic wrap. This mask is really good fitting on my face, so I used it as a guideline to where I should put the foam clay. Covered it in saran wrap so it didn't stick to my foundation. Taped it so secure. Now this FOMO is great. It's clay and it dries into foam, so it's really lightweight. It's easy to mold. I have a little side of water too, just in case it kind of starts to dry out. So I just kind of shape it over where I need to shape it. And it wears pretty good. So this part is the bottom, like mandible, or like you can see it's the jaw part of the mask. And this particular mask I wanted to do kind of a layer effect. So I started with the bottom, and I used scissors, and you can use scissors to cut the foam when it's not dry, because if you cut it when it's dry, it'll cause it to crack and look like crap. So it's always best to use the scissors earlier on when it's still kind of wet, I guess, malleable. Little details I just kind of stuck on this mask. And they're not symmetrical. They were supposed to be symmetrical, but they didn't come out that way. But it's okay, because this is just me showing you how to do it. So I think coming up right now is so I'm doing the top layer, and what I do for this is I kind of give a general shape of what I need it to look like before I laid it down, so that way I didn't mess up the bottom layer. So that's what I'm doing right here. Oh, look, looks fine. Looks fine. You won't see it in this video, but I actually dropped this mask at some point, so it kind of warped it a little bit, so it doesn't look as symmetrical as it does in this video of creation. Anyway, so here I am molding the general shape of it, getting kind of the details I wanted, cutting some pieces off because I used too much clay on those cheekbones. Takes a lot of just, I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I was just kind of winging it and molding it in areas, giving it more dimension. Scissors happened to be handy, and I was like, hey, I'm going to give it some. It looks like gills, but it's really not. It's just supposed to be kind of wrinkles on the face. They're not gills, I swear. So I'm just kind of squishing the face down to where like the mask is underneath, because that's where I need it to be on my particular face, because that's where my cheekbones are. And that would have been covering up my eyes, so there we go. Next up, I think, is the nose. Yeah. Which is really cool to watch. Forming it like that. And the nostrils, I just kind of just did that, as you can see. And this part, I really had no idea what I was doing. I was just kind of throwing on some pieces and ended up looking okay, so I kept it. Just kind of layering them on there. And fast forward, it doesn't look like I'm second guessing myself. It definitely looks like I know what I'm doing, but at the time I definitely did not know what I was doing. I was just like, that looks weird here. Let's fix it. There we go. That's nice. And the pin I'm using to just kind of squish, because when you're molding it and you're squishing it together, it kind of takes away some of the details, and I was just re-adding those details with the pin. Adding some fancy swirlies on the sides there. Oh yes, more fancy swirlies. I decided that I needed to add more details to the side of the nose, because where I kind of messed it up a little bit, you can't see it, but I did that. And I wanted it to look a little bit more grotesque, and it was looking a little too clean. So I used my nails and kind of carved in some wrinkles where like the top upper area is, and you'll see it when I kind of show you. But I wanted... So this is a video of me making the tusks and the teeth, not attaching them, but just rolling them out and rolling them out to my hands, getting some pointy ends, and then I kind of shape it into like a semi-crescent, I guess, and then I cut it in half, and bam, you have tusks. What? And then I did that for little pieces too, so I did a little smaller set. I don't even know if I use those or not, but there they are. I did that a few more times, rolling it between my hands, pointy ends, cut it in half. And off camera, I ended up just rolling them between my fingers. And it took maybe in real time 6 minutes. But I think when I was doing this, I first attempted to... Well, I adjusted the cheeks a little bit, but I first attempted to try to stick it in, like the teeth directly into the clay, which was not very smart. It was a mistake because when you squish the teeth into the clay, when they're wet and the clay foundation is wet, it just mushes together and it doesn't look very good. So I ended up pulling that out, and I thought maybe I could try to make some gums for the mouth and then stick the teeth in there, and that also didn't really work out very well. So I decided that I was going to wait for the teeth to dry, and I'll show you how I did that in another video. I forgot to record me making the teeth. Oh, I didn't forget. I was too lazy. But I'm going to show you how to make them. They're pointy teeth. I chose pointy teeth, and I chose to do gums too. So for the gums, I took some of my Foamo and I rolled it up in just a line. Doesn't have to be perfect at all. And then I just shoved the little teeth inside of the clay, just like that. And you want to make sure your teeth are dry before you try this. Otherwise, they're just going to be squishing together and looking not good at all. So that's all. That's all I did. And I didn't glue it. I didn't need this glue. I thought I was going to, but I didn't need it. What I ended up doing was just sticking it to the mask, and because the clay sticks to itself, it didn't require any glue. And yeah. These horns I have were made before from pink insulation foam. Glued them together, cut them out with this little pink doodad thing here. Ooh, look at it. It's a little dull because I used it a lot. So usually it cuts through things like butter, but I had to actually saw with it because I didn't want to go grab my, sandpaper can sharpen it anyway. So here I am. I'm trying to even them out because one was longer than the other. And also because I'm putting it on my face, it has that curve. My head has a curve. Everybody's head has a curve. So I needed to kind of do that to it. So realistically, I probably should have labeled one left and one right, but I didn't do that. It's fine. All it takes is a little bit of, swapping them. So what I was thinking I was going to do was I was going to take the clay and I was going to roll it between my hands and just wrap it around. And this, ooh, itchy. So at this point, I was thinking it was going to be the transition of horn to my body. So it was going to maybe be like a fleshy kind of thing. But so I rolled it around like that, and it was not sticking to the insulation foam. And the reason I think it wasn't sticking was because I didn't wet the horn first, the insulation foam. It would have stuck a lot better. So I changed my mind and I decided to just smush it on there, squish it real good. And it stuck okay. It was alright. Would have been better if I had wet it first, but look at that. That looks good. And so I was just going to kind of squish it to my face, make sure it fit my head. I wanted it to fit the contour of my head. Kind of weirdly wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. But I decided to do the other side, and I grabbed that foam head because I was like, you know what? This is going to work better on this foam head than it is on mine. And there we go. See, I'm just squishing it on. And you'll kind of see the horns I don't know if you'll notice. I noticed they kind of look a little funny. And one of the reasons is because I have them switched instead of, from left to right. Because like I said, I didn't label them. Lesson learned. See, those are backwards. Those should be the other way. But they look alright. Yeah. See? Woo!